Hello everybody, in this episode we are reviewing the Transformers Micromaster Battle Patrol. These are a group of Autobots which are made up obviously into battle figures. So in order you have Sidetrack, who's kind of an anti-air cannon. You have Flak, who's basically a missile launcher. Big Shot, who is effectively I guess you call it a self-propelled gun rather than a tank. And finally Sunrunner, who is kind of a cross between an old-fashioned style plane but with huge missiles mounted on him. In all, they're actually pretty decent figures. They're a bit different from the normal Micromasters in that they all look quite different. Others are normally of a very similar style with slight colour variations. These are extremely different, particularly as the fact it's unusual to have one member that can fly and three which can't. Normally they're either all cars, or they're all planes, or they're all off-road vehicles. These are somewhat different. Transformations are a little bit different as well, which is quite good to see some variance with that as well. In terms of the figures, as you can see, you've got some pretty decent things here. So you've got sculpted in here, if I can focus it, there we are, what appear to be little missiles launched. Well, not launched, but little missiles stored in here as well. You've also got some quite good sculpting on the, say, on the cockpit and on the weapons themselves. So it's quite a decent range all told for missiles and the way it's been sculpted. Okay, so the three vehicles, the transformations are a little bit similar, but there is some variance with them. So let's go over those. So the front of the tank, track, whatever you call it, flips open like that. That forms the legs. Front flips down like that, and you're done. It's a simple transformation, but it works. Hold him in a way that we get some focus. There we are. Quite decent. It kind of works all right. So you think the front is going to be the legs again? You think wrong. It's the back this time. And then you flip down like that, and there we go. And the treads are his arms. Again. Fairly simple transformation, but there is some variance with them, and the colour scheme when he's transformed is not bad at all. Now this one is the front again, and you'd be right in thinking so. There's not a lot of options with the big gun in the back. There we go, and arms we've got like that. These are fake wheels on here, they don't actually do anything. The gun itself does have some good manoeuvrability when in weapons mode, and it kind of acts as a third leg almost at the back, but it's a little bit short, so it makes him perhaps the most tricky to balance, as he has to rest on the gun, otherwise he falls over and is unbalanced by it. And finally the aircraft, which is the most different transformation of them all, because, well, I guess it's an aircraft. So the rear parts there become the feet, the fins go back, this falls down, and then you have to do some more work on the arms. So by far Sunrunner has the most complicated transformation of them all, and changes the most from being the plane to robot. And there we are, the Micromaster Battle Patrol. Pretty decent little set of Transformers, it has to be said. Here we go, just position the camera a bit better there. Okay, so height-wise, so I'm not going to do a comparison with the big Transformers because it's a little bit unfair. But let's compare them against a Nebulon. Kind of the time. So they are taller than a Nebulon. And compared with the Titan's return releases, which are tiny Nebulon figures, they are considerably taller than that. So they are, say, of the time, they're fairly detailed actually for the time. Again, these are the first wave still of Transformers Micromasters, which is why they still have some fairly unique designs and why they still have a fair bit of detail. As we progress further along the range, the designs kind of run out a little bit, and they're a bit more, oh, it's a Micromaster that combines with another Micromaster. That's a gimmick, otherwise there's just very little in the way of detail. Some do where they reuse shapes, but it kind of lacks. At this point, they're still doing very fresh range, and they're still making an effort to give you quite a detailed. Talk about detailed amount of detail. That's not good English. Quite a good range of detail. They look good. They work good. Yeah, pick them up. Try and get them as a group though, because people do charge something like £4 for one, which seems like a lot of money for a teeny tiny Micromaster. I would only collect them as groups, or less if you need one to complete a collection, maybe, but otherwise yeah, get them as a set of 4. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.